April 8th. This time. Floor is yours.
All right. Thank you all so much for being here. We definitely appreciate your time. Before we get started, we'll introduce everyone. My name is Brandon Wiggins. I'm an HR analyst at Human Resources.
My name is Jean. My last name is Cole. I am the Project and Communication Specialist, PIO, and I work in the Administration Department.
My name is Katie Doherty. I'm also the Human Resources Analyst. I work in the Human Resources Department.
I think we also,
And I'm Chris Rayner, the IT Director.
so Chris is definitely an integral component to this, but he's going to be running the camera today. So as you're aware, we have been working on a new website, and so today we're going to talk about a modern approach to serving our community. Before we get started, quick overview of what we're going to be covering: our shared goals, the need for change, some of our current challenges, what comes next, and also a vision for success. How are we defining what success looks like? So we all share a deep commitment to Sampson County. Passion is probably what drove us all into this room to begin with. I know that's the case for me. I know a lot of you are very passionate about what you're doing. That's why you're here. But I think it's important to note that we do not drift in good directions. We discipline and prioritize ourselves there. So we need to have a plan. So we want to reaffirm our shared goals and explore how we can best achieve these goals together. Number one, making smart investments for our community's future. Now, you've already done this in last year's budget. You funded this project. We're very appreciative of that. We're very excited about what we're going to be able to do with that. So obviously, you're a big component of this. Additionally, delivering excellent services to our residents and businesses. This is the direct interactions you have with residents, with businesses. This is customer service in a nutshell. But we also want to focus on operating efficiently to maximize our resources. So this is internally looking at better ways to do things more efficiently, more cost effective. That's also part of good customer service when we're talking about government, because ultimately this is tax money. So the need for change. You're probably aware, you've heard about AI, you know about how many mobile connected devices are in the world. I think it's expected to grow to about 500 billion connected devices by 2030. It was 20 billion in 2019. So we're talking about a world that is changing very, very fast. So let's talk about change for a minute. So we're going to use a little parable to kind of demonstrate what we're talking about here. Imagine we are all in a village and we live beside a river and we all have our jobs and we're a little community, everybody has their job. And one day we see a child floating down the river. We need to go rescue that child. We dive in, we get them out, we feel good. Well then 30 more children start coming down the river, like, oh, we got to go save these children. Eventually, there's a steady flow of children coming down the river. All our townspeople are dedicating all their time, all their resources to try to get these children out of the river. It's taking up everything we got, everything that's right in front of us. Eventually, John stands up and he starts walking that way. Everybody's looking at John like, what are you doing? We have to save these children. This is important. And John's response is, I'm going to find out who's putting all these children in the river. So the bigger point here is we cannot focus exclusively on reacting to what's happening. Sometimes we got to take a proactive approach and get to the root of the problem. Start thinking bigger picture, enterprise level. We got a lot of people that work here. This is a large organization for Sampson County standards. We have to start thinking about it like that. So this brings us to upstream and downstream. So when we say upstream and downstream, upstream, that is internally. That is what's happening internally. You don't see it. We just see children in the river. I don't know what's happening up there. Just like most people out in the community don't know what's happening inside the government. But what's happening inside the government is ultimately impacting what they're experiencing out there in the community. So we want to look at customer service both from an upstream and a downstream perspective. What's happening upstream is affecting what's happening downstream. So one more quote: without change, there is no innovation, creativity, or incentive for improvement. Those who initiate change have a better opportunity to manage the change that is inevitable. So this is essentially what we're saying is we need to be proactive. Things are going to change anyway. Do we want to let external circumstances dictate what we need to do, or do we want to be more proactive and try to get ahead of this as much as we can? So with that in mind, one more quick little parable: the spoon, the shovel, and the excavator. Imagine we're a company, we're tasked with digging a ditch. We could hire 100 people, and we could give them all spoons. 100 people, full-time employees, benefits, everything. We all know how much that costs. We could all give them spoons and we could dig this ditch. We could do it. It's not going to get done very efficiently. And we're gonna have to hire a lot of people to get it done. Now, if we trade out those spoons for shovels, think of those spoons as just everything's manual, everything's paper, nothing's automated. It all works really, really slow. You're probably familiar with that in government. Most people, that's their perception. Now, we can also upgrade to a shovel. I would like to use HR as an example. We recently transitioned in, I think it was 2020, to our electronic job applications. The amount of applications we've received since then, we would have been overwhelmed had we stayed on fully paper applications. We would not have been able to do it with the turnover we had during COVID and post-COVID. We would have been completely overwhelmed. Those children in the river, we'd eventually got to the point we can't rescue them all. We can't handle the volume. So we got a better tool. It works a lot better. Shovel's a lot better than a spoon. But what's better than both of those things? What if we bought an excavator? All of a sudden, I don't need 100 people with spoons. I can hire one highly skilled person to run this excavator. I also have money. I can hire somebody to maintain my excavator in case it breaks. I can hire somebody to protect my excavator while I'm not using it. I can hire people to plan and strategize about future ditches we could dig. And it's still going to ultimately cost less than what it costs to hire these 100 people with spoons. So when we say enterprise level, that's what we're talking about. Investing in the technology to do the job at scale. Yes, hire skilled people, but ultimately you don't need as many of them. The main point here is that the reliance on outdated methods results in inefficiencies upstream, which we discussed before, that impact our customers, our residents downstream. So what we're really talking about is our stakeholders. We have multiple stakeholders. Generally, we think of customer service as the residents out in the community, but HR, we are very attuned to this. We also have stakeholders internally. The tools and the processes that your employees are constricted by is going to affect the quality of the work they're able to produce. So with that in mind, we met as a group with every department to gather insights on not only website usability issues, yes, that's the front-facing, what are your issues with the website specifically, but also what are your broader departmental needs? What are these upstream issues? What are some internal things that may be impacting your ability to provide good customer service to HUG? We also conducted multiple community surveys to understand resident needs and expectations for the new website. So the point is, we didn't want to assume anything. We wanted to make sure we had taken into account all these different perspectives, and that was going to inform how we were going to go about this project. With that said, we are here to talk about websites, so here's a fun fact. The average lifespan of a website is 31 months. That means every 2 years and 7 months, your major organizations, mid, small size, it doesn't matter. This is a sample of a lot of websites over the internet. They're generally replaced every 2 years and 7 months. Does anybody know how old Sampson County's current website is? We are about to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. A lot has changed in 10 years. A lot. A lot. So this is part of why we wanted to make sure we met with every department. We had considered this from every perspective because spoons have been getting used for a while. People were frustrated. We needed to understand, what do you need in this modern environment to do your job better? So after all of these conversations and obviously doing our own research on current technologies, etc., we put our current challenges into these 5 buckets: responsiveness, accessibility, reliability, shareability, and efficiency.
And we will elaborate a little bit more on the 5 different current challenges. The number 1 challenge is the responsiveness. So what is responsiveness? Think about a website that can adjust itself to fit in no matter what kind of device you're using, desktop, mobile phone, or tablet. And that is responsiveness. Why does that matter? According to our data, 6 out of 10 of Sampson County visitors, Sampson County website visitors are actually using a mobile device to view our website. However, our website is not responsive to our mobile devices. So here is a little short video to demonstrate how people are using to view our website using a mobile device. So traditionally, people swipe up and down to view the website content, especially using a mobile phone. However, if you land on our department page, which is showing right here, scrolling up and down will only give you partial information, from administration department to emergency services department. Here, I'm struggling because I'm trying to swipe left and right to left to get to see the complete content. It is not convenient for me. It must not be convenient for a lot of other people outside using a mobile device and trying to get access to our department information. Our next challenge is our accessibility issue. Did you recognize the icon on the top right corner? If you view a lot of the state or federal website, this is their ADA content for the website. What is ADA? ADA is the Americans with Disability Act acronym, and it's a federal law protecting people with disabilities. It states that our website should be compliant with the ADA standard and provide equal access to everyone, access to our web content. Currently, our website is not ADA compliant. According to the Department of Justice, it confirms that ADA compliance should be mandatory for all public accommodations. And if you view a lot of different news, they're addressing ADA website lawsuits are on the rise. And as a local government, we will be criticized if we're not being compliant with this ADA standard. Our third challenge is our reliability. Currently, there are two ways of searching information on our current website. Number one is using our main menu, home, departments, topics, or government. Assuming our residents understand what each department does what and be able to search information through the departments or government. Well, topics might be another good option, but when you click on it, there are over 100 options for you to choose. That could be overwhelming. Well, if I cannot find it, maybe I can search it, just like using Google. If you put in, there is a search function built in with our current website. However, if you search GIS, this is the search result, and this is the top 4 search result. All of them are ads. They are sponsored information, has nothing to do with our current website. We want information to be able to search from within, so we are providing consistent and correct information. Our next challenge is the shareability. Take a look at our current website, the latest news, and the calendar. Alive After 5 is an exciting news that's coming up. I would like to share it to my social media. However, on our current website, the only way for you to share this news is to copy the web link and paste it on your social media. And this is what it's going to look like. Welcome to Sampson County, North Carolina. It does not even give you any clue about Alive After 5 or any visual clue. Visual appeals are so important nowadays on social media, especially we're constantly bombarded with images and videos. This is going to limit the engagement for our residents, our website users. Last but not least is the efficiency. Currently, we have 2 site admins that can update information. Think about an emergency situation where one is out there in the field handling the emergency and another one is out sick at home. I haven't come across with this situation. I definitely don't want this to happen. It's going to be chaotic. Another one that's going to affect efficiency is our content archiving challenges. When I first come and work for Sampson County, I find out there's many pages that are no longer being found on our current web page that is still searchable on the World Wide Web. If you search Sampson County employment application, it's no longer there. We disabled this. Since 2020, we're using electronic application. This specific application is still searchable through Google. And it did mention applications may be mailed or hand-delivered to human resources. Think about this. This is confusing, and this will cause trust issue with the public. We no longer use this printed version to submit application anymore. And to put it in perspective, think about our website as a big file cabinet. We have many drawers, which is your menu option that is going to direct you to find the correct information. Imagine if a file gets pulled out from a drawer. you should not be able to find it in the drawer. But you turn around and look, the file is actually still laying on the floor. It is confusing, it does not belong anywhere, but people can still find it and see it. Here is a short summary of our current challenges. Our website is not responsive to mobile devices. It is not ADA compliant. It's not reliable due to the navigation issue. It is not shareable, and it is not efficient. So, what comes next? It is more than just a website. We're introducing the Sampson County new digital ecosystem. Website, Gov delivery, open forms, and engagement HQ. And I will elaborate a little bit more on the website. So first and foremost, our current website, www.sampsonnc.com URL, is going to be updated to www.sampsoncounty.nc.gov. You might have a question, what's the difference between a .com and a .gov? Any individual or business can apply a .com domain and start running a website. However, a .gov domain is a verified and a top-level domain for government agencies or government entities in the U.S. It has enhanced safety and security function, and it is official. And remember I mentioned about the two-site admin situation where it could be quite chaotic if things does not go well. With the new website, now we have 30 users with various permission levels. And we can ensure proper information are going to be updated at the right time. And next, we're going to take a quick look at what the new website is going to look like. A little quick disclaimer, this is a pre-live website. We plan to launch the website in June this year. So you will still see an announcement. That is because our vendor is still doing the final quality assurance to make sure everything works like it's supposed to be. So I will tell you what they are. So this announcement are irrelevant. Once the website goes live, you will not see it. Before I dig deeper and tell you more about the benefits of the new website, let's take a few seconds just to look at the new website. Remember our number one challenges that we mentioned about the responsiveness? Now, with the new website, this is what the mobile phone is going to look like. Menu option is going to be easy within one fingertip. And you no longer need to swipe left to right and find your department. The information is going to stack on top of each other and give you a page option to select. And another improvement of our new website, we also have a search bar embedded in our main page. Right now, if you search text, there is a search prediction to predict what people are actually looking for and gave you the option. If you still cannot find what you want, go ahead and hit the search button. Content search will only show information that is built within our website. No more searching the World Wide Web and no more ads. One of the main improvements for the website is the access to the information. Now we have various ways to access information. So from the top right corner, we still have our quick links. Menu is going to look a little bit different and work different. According to our feedback and insights, we shift our menu from department focus to service focus. Therefore, we have this My Property, Business and Development, Services and Government. And if citizens or residents kind of understand what kind of services that they're looking for, Service Finder is a good tool to help guide residents to find and land on the service page that they're looking for. Search bar, like I mentioned before, they have the predictable search and hot topics and popular service. It's like we used to only have one entrance to a big building. Now we have various entrances in different sections that allows people to access the information. It's easier, it's more efficient, and it's convenient. So you might have another question. Who decides what kind of information is going to be displayed on the website? The answer is our web users, it's our residents. At the back end, we have enhanced analytics that is going to inform us to make the decision and improve the content. And let's take a quick look at what the back end we are actually reading. This is only one of the data report that we're going to be receiving. It's about engagement. It actually tells you how many people stays on what specific page for how long. And through all this different data, it can better inform us to make better decisions and improve our content to make it more convenient. So in summary, our website has enhanced security and safety function with the .gov domain. The improved user experience is going to allow our residents or website users to find the information easier and faster. The data-driven insights is going to make our website more dynamic and more engaged for the citizens.
It is not just a website. The first tool I would like to go over is GovDelivery, and that is a platform that will be integrated with the new website. GovDelivery is a marketing tool that is going to allow us to lead the conversation. When I arrived here at Sampson County and started working, I kept hearing over and over that we need to be more proactive and less reactive. GovDelivery is going to help with that. This is going to allow our residents to subscribe to different topics that they are interested in, what they care about, or they can subscribe to hear about everything in the county from different departments. Residents will be able to customize their updates if they want to hear nothing about updates from the library, about the upcoming story times, or if they want to hear updates from Parks and Rec, about how to register their child for softball or baseball or football, or if they want to receive updates from the Expo Center, or about the upcoming Alive After 5 concert that we have May 23rd with the Embers. They can do that. Or, as I said, they can subscribe to receive all updates from Sampson County. As of right now, we have about 6,000 residents subscribed, and all of these residents have opted in to receive these updates. They are allowed to opt out. I will show you an example after this slide, and I will show you where residents can opt out if they are no longer interested in receiving these updates. Also, GovDelivery is integrated with the website, and we can track results just like the website receives analytics we do as well with GovDelivery. We can see real-time results, we can see if the residents are receiving this information, we can see how they're engaging with it, we can see how they're using it, so it's extremely helpful. And like, as I said, it is fully integrated with the website, and it comes with our current new vendor. And now I will show you some examples. First, these are 2 announcements. You can subscribe to receive these via email, text message. These are 2 emails that were sent to Jean. This is how the announcements will look. We can change these. These are just 2 examples of 2 templates that we have. It has our new logo and branding at the top, and this one goes over the upcoming Alive After 5 concert with the Embers on May 23rd. It has a title, a description in the middle, it has the time and date at the bottom. And as you can see also, residents can click on our Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube to quickly access our social media channels. This is also extremely important for them to, for us to be more transparent and for them to access our social media. Here is where our subscriber services are at the bottom. This is where they can manage their subscription, so if they want to add another subscription to receive more updates from a different department, they can do that here. And at the bottom, I know it's hard to see, I'm very sorry. This is where they can unsubscribe right here if they no longer want to receive updates from this particular subject. Over here is a library update, very similar to the Alive After 5. These are upcoming story times from the library, so Kelsey can get us the information, we can quickly create this gov delivery, and we can send it out for parents to take their children to these upcoming story times. We can also do this, like I said, with Parks and Rec, any other department. It's just very helpful with getting information out there quickly and allowing residents to receive the information very fast. This is a newsletter that we are planning on sending out monthly. This will be helpful also with getting information out to residents. I will go over this entire newsletter. It's kind of long, so bear with me. It goes over Alive After 5 at the very top, so similar to the announcement, it has the information for the upcoming Alive After 5. So sorry. Right here, it goes over the Sampson County Public Transportation Award that was just given to Patricia Cherry. Over here is a current survey that we have going on from the Health Department. Right here is going over National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, our new gov delivery platform. We also added a spot where Sampson County residents can see that we're currently hiring. So it takes them to our Applicant Pro and they can see our open job openings. We also have public meeting reminders, so we can send out upcoming Board of Commissioners meetings, planning board meetings, any other board meetings that we have within the county. And we can also send Board of Commissioner updates via the announcements as well. And it also has the subscription management at the bottom on the newsletter. So just to recap, like I said, gov delivery, it helps us to be more proactive and less reactive, and it allows us to lead the conversation and get our news out there very quickly.
Okay, so we talked a little bit before about spoons and whatnot, inefficient ways of doing things. A lot, if you've worked in government at all, a lot of what we do is forms. There's a lot of forms for a lot of different things. So Open Forms is essentially going to allow us to take what is currently paper and make it electronic. So that is going to save residents time. As you know, we're a very large county. If I live in the northern part of the county or the southern part of the county, if I need to submit a physical piece of paper, I literally have to drive to Clinton during normal business hours and drop it off with a very specific person who may or may not be at lunch at a given time. This is going to allow us to make these forms available 24/7. You can access them on your phone and you can sign them electronically. So the goal here is to take all of this paper and make it electronic. Obviously, if we make this electronic, we can also process it faster. So as soon as the residents submit something, they get an immediate notification back, hey, your form has been received. Currently, if you submit, I hope they got it. I don't know if they got it, I hope they got it. So this is going to allow us to process it faster and also give them real-time updates on when it has been received. Another big part of Open Forms on the back end, there are workflows. And when I say workflows, person A submits a form. It goes into a workflow, they immediately get notified, hey, they've received your form. As this form moves through the workflow, they can get updates on the progress. This will be particularly helpful. We're going to roll this out initially in environmental health. So vendors trying to do like register for events, they have to get inspected if they're going to sell food, things of that nature. They can submit that on their phone from wherever they're located, and they can do it quickly. The big key here, this is mobile friendly also. A lot of, especially if you get over inspections planning, a lot of that is happening on the go. They're in trucks, they're driving around, they're not sitting at a computer all day, but they do have their phone. So we are going to meet them where they're at, and we're going to allow them to submit some of these forms electronically, and ultimately this is about saving the residents' time, making it more convenient. So just to demonstrate what this looks like. This is just a test application. As you can see, this is very clean, it looks very professional. If you've noticed some of our paper forms, there's all kinds of different fonts and all kinds of different formatting. This is going to standardize the look, and that is a big part of this, standardizing the experience so people have an expectation. And so this is what it looks like on full, but if we minimize this down, that also will conform itself to a phone, so it is responsive, to use our word earlier. And again, if these are forms, if I have to submit something, I can bring this up on my phone, it's 11:30 at night, I can go ahead and submit it. I don't got to wait until 8:30 in the morning or whatever. So we're hoping this is going to help our residents and save them a lot of time. Obviously, we can put contact information, location information, etc. Now, a lot of these forms have a lot of information on them. We have realized when you have a piece of paper, I'm just getting to the part where I got to fill it out. This, you can put all the pertinent information, general statutes, etc. at the beginning. You can't start the form until you have acknowledged that you've seen all the pertinent information tied to that form. Now, obviously, you don't have to read it, but it is there, and by submitting it, they have essentially acknowledged they've read it and they understand it. So we're going to get fewer incomplete forms, people filling out bits and pieces, like they have to fill it out completely to be able to submit this. So this is just an example of what it looks like. Again, this is mobile friendly, this is super easy to fill out on your phone. If you've ever been on a website with autofill, if you've already completed some information, it'll automatically fill in a lot of the information you use regularly. So we're going to take advantage of that technology as well. If we're talking about our food vendors, a lot of what they have to submit requires additional documentation. This goes back to the driving. Okay, I've got my form, well now I got to get this additional thing and I got to put it with it and then I got to go drop it off in person. This is going to allow me to attach that additional documentation and it is going to be submitted as a packet with the form. So when the receiving department gets it, they have everything they need. And we can set this so that if you don't have everything required to process your form, you're not submitting it. And over time, people will learn what they need to do to actually submit the form. And so this could be educational in a certain sense. So this, for example, says building layout, drawing, and equipment specifications. If I have it in front of me, I can literally take a picture with my phone, I can attach it, and I'm done. Submit it. Now, another key point here is signatures. This has digital signatures. You can sign it with a stylus with your finger. If you already have a signature saved on your phone, you can use that as well. So this is perfectly legitimate. This, Granicus, our vendor, works with a lot of federal departments. This is what they do is government websites. So this is on their platform. This is built specifically for governments. The signature component is a big piece of that. And then you may have noticed the CAPTCHA down at the bottom. This is to cut down on spam, so we don't have just bots and things submitting just a bunch of garbage to departments. We've also considered that. So when you submit this, I immediately get a notification to the email that I provided that says your form has been received. You get a copy of your form, so you know exactly what you submitted. The best thing is, let's say you get distracted in the middle of doing this. You could just click save, come back later, finish it up. You don't have to worry about it. Or, let's say you submit it, and they notice, hey, this doesn't look right, or you should, ooh, I messed that up. I can send it right back to them. They can just correct it real quick, resubmit it. I don't have to fill out a whole nother form, make a whole nother trip to Clinton. It makes it a lot easier, turnaround time, it's a lot more efficient. So just to recap, open forms, the goal here is convenience for residents, saving them time, saving them just headache in essence. Reduces the paperwork internally, so when we're talking about upstream, downstream, processing physical paperwork is very, very time intensive. It takes a lot of people and a lot of effort. Things get lost. It's not the greatest way to do things. So it's going to reduce paper. It's going to allow us to process it faster with the workflows, etc. They're going to get real-time updates as it moves through this workflow. And again, it's mobile friendly. And as we discussed before, that's how most people are accessing our information anyway. So this is just kind of leaning into that reality. Next up, we have Engagement HQ. Now, this is something new that we have not had before. So the basic idea here is that you can provide updates on large projects that span multiple years, or they're just large projects. So think, for instance, our EMS building. There was a funding phase. There was multiple sources of funding. There were certain milestones that got hit. Well, when we were looking, trying to summarize the EMS building, we realized, like, all that information is not in one place. If I'm a resident and I'm trying to piece it all together, it's very difficult to find all the information if I want to know more about how that came to fruition. So the idea with this is we can provide greater transparency for some of these large projects. We can centralize all that information in a single location. This would essentially be a sub-site within our main website. Our main website's focus is services. This is more about keeping residents up to date on large projects happening in the community. Katie mentioned GovDelivery. Let's say there's a water project in a very specific part of the county. I want updates as we reach milestones. I can subscribe to that, and via GovDelivery, I can get updates as soon as we reach project milestones. So I can stay informed about the projects that I care about. Additionally, because this is a sub-site, there's a homepage, there's all our projects will be in one place. Similar to the main website, this is very easy to search. So if I'm looking for a very specific project, I can go there, I can search, and I can get all the information that I am looking for. So just to demonstrate this very quickly, this is engage.sampsoncounty.nc.gov, and it's in the Word. We're trying to engage more with the community. And essentially, you have a homepage, and then you can have featured projects. So just for example, the EMS building is already completed, but just imagine this, as we're going through the process, we can share information with the public. Obviously, this is a lot more visually compelling. We're not dependent on the newspaper to tell what's going on. We can give our own information and our own updates. We can give a brief overview of the project. This is very important. People don't want to talk to a faceless entity they call the government. There are real people involved in real decision making. So in this particular case, Rick is obviously over emergency services. That would be your primary contact. That just personalizes it so people understand there are real people involved in these projects. If we scroll down a little further, we have a video that Gene and the emergency services staff created. It just creates compelling, dynamic, people are excited, something's happening. I can see progress. Another key component of this is our life cycle over here on the right. Now imagine project kickoff. And then every time we have a major project milestone, you can get notified. So you don't feel like you're in the dark for 6 months and then all of a sudden like, oh, when did all that happen? I can know about it as soon as we let you know about it. So the goal is greater transparency, make the community feel like they're more informed about what is going on. Additionally, we can detail funding sources. As we're fully aware, being dependent on social media and the newspaper, people get bits and pieces of information. They may get it out of context. They may get something totally inaccurate. This allows us to hopefully create a more informed discussion. You can do this for any number of projects. You can literally let your imagination run wild. There's so many ways you can use this. But the point being, you can create an informed conversation. It's all in a single, definitive location. This is like the Bible for what's going on. You don't have to be dependent on a third party to get the information. Additionally, if there is ever a need to collect feedback on certain projects, obviously, we put door hangers up for certain things, not the most efficient thing in the world. This allows people, if I know about this project, I want to give some insight, a thought, a concern. We have the ability to be able to collect that information as well. Obviously not trying to make a platform for people to just complain, but we do want to acknowledge, we do want feedback. We need to know what residents want and what they need. So that is Engagement HQ. So as we mentioned before, we want to talk about our vision for success. And when we say our vision, that is everybody working here, that is the Board of Commissioners, that is the residents. What does success look like if we get this right? We want to build a future-focused Sampson County that proactively leverages technology to empower residents, connect with our community, and position ourselves for sustainable growth. So the key here is we want to do things we can sustain, not things we can't. Part of that involves we want to create a thriving talent hub. That means attracting and retaining top talent with a vibrant online presence that showcases our dynamic spirit and commitment to innovation. Working in HR, we're fully aware what the challenges are in recruiting certain skill sets to Sampson County. We want to use the website as a tool to promote ourselves as a place you want to go to work. Or even if you're considering somewhere to live, that's the first thing I'm going to look at is your website. Does your county government have it together? Are they partnering with local entities? What's going on in the area? This allows us to present ourselves as a place that talent wants to go work for and ultimately live and stay. Additionally, we want to help contribute to Sampson County being a magnet for investment. Obviously, economic development is a high priority right now. We all know we need investment in the county. Well, economic development is obviously doing their part, but we want to use the website to signal that we have forward-thinking leadership and a commitment to digital excellence, making Sampson County a prime location for businesses to invest and flourish. We need to present ourselves in a more corporate fashion, like we are serious about doing business, big business. That is what we're trying to convey. Similarly with the talent, we want to speak to anybody around the world. If they find us, that looks like somebody I can do business with. That looks like a place I can do and it will be worth my time. So that is part of this. Now, as you may have noticed, there's some new branding involved in this process. Now, what we I just want to make clear, the branding, we did not outsource this out. That was the three of us worked on this internally based on surveys, based on things the community said they felt defined Sampson County. And the overwhelming takeaway was that we are an agricultural county. That's our history, that's how we got here. We're not trying to run away from that. So we thought, what symbol could we use to kind of convey that? The barn quilt trail. We have a barn quilt trail. Barn quilts are directly tied to ag. So we tried to use branding that incorporated the barn quilt, which is ultimately a symbol of our rich agricultural roots. But the symbol ultimately represents values. It's about hard work, it's about resilience, it's about connection. A quilt, it's connected. Everything in the community is connected. We're either going to succeed together or fail together. There is no doing this on our own. So when we were talking about a logo, that's what we were trying to achieve. And ultimately what we came up with, this is, again, it's more modern. It implies we're growing, we're moving upwards and onwards, but we're also not losing sight of where we came from, which is an agricultural heritage. So that is the balance we were trying to keep with this, and we feel very good about the potential of this. The key point here, there is no connotation with this whatsoever. There are no negative experiences, there are no positive experiences. If we make this work, and we are confident we can, we associate this with government that just works. It doesn't matter what happened before. What matters is what we're doing moving forward, and that's going to be Sampson County, North Carolina. We're excited where we can be in a few years. So with that, does anyone have any questions? I know we're about out of time. We got about 6 minutes.
It's very impressive. I can tell the cohesiveness of this group. I've got a couple of questions. You're talking about the updates for the forms that are submitted. Will those updates be automatic to the person that submits those forms?
Yes, so the way that is set up is tied to an email address. And so as it's moving through the workflow, you can customize the workflows to respond directly to the person that submitted the form. We can also send notifications internally to relevant people that need to pick up the next part of the process, because generally these are multi-people processes.
Gotcha. The other thing, and talk about open forms inspections, will they be able to fill out those forms as well that's needed for inspections?
So
to set up a inspection on site?
So inspections is broken into, obviously, the building inspections, and then we have the food and lodging. Open forms is going to be for food and lodging because inspections has invested in the iWorks software, which is specifically built for facilitating getting those inspections done. So this would be for everything non-building inspections.
Okay.
So because they had already, by the time we started this, they had already committed to that platform. So this would be for everything except for that.
Okay.
However, the inspections, when it's all said and done, when they do the inspection in the field, they'll have their computers where they can enter it and their customers can be able to find it online, or it will go to them very quickly through that program.
I was hoping that they could call for an inspection on site without having to call the office, maybe do it over the internet. That's what I was hoping for in my mind.
I'm inclined to think that will happen.
I think it is my understanding, now we have not worked closely with iWork, this has kind of been running parallel to that, but it's my understanding that is ultimately the goal. Again, with the mobile, people are on the move, they're not sitting at a computer all day. I need it when I need it, like let me do it when I'm thinking about it.
Is there some way we can follow up on that?
We could follow up on it, Commissioner Kivett, but as Mr. Cozy stated, from working with the software over the last couple of months, the inspectors themselves will now have tablets or a computer that they can pull up the same information they're pulling in the office, and as they're standing in the field, they'll be able to tap, click, point. And we were actually working on getting printers so that if they're out in the field, they can actually print the inspection while they're there. So those things are in the works. They're finalizing. Actually, we're finalizing it up over the next couple of weeks to bring this all together. It's like a conjunction of things that we're going to bring to you.
Very well, good. The other thing I was gonna suggest too is, your newsletter, part of that could be, we get public comments, believe it or not, at every meeting. And some of those things are never addressed. Is there some way that we could address those things?
We can definitely do it.
After each meeting, put that on and it's addressed, it's there. The next meeting that comes with it, you go to the website.
Yes, sir.
So this would be an example of, so the engagement HQ, for instance.
Okay.
Obviously, I can go to the meeting, I have to give certain information, I can give a public comment. You could allow for people to make electronic public comments, they would obviously have to still provide information, they can't just do it anonymously. But you could accommodate answering those questions in a centralized location, so that if someone else has the same question, you can point, we've already answered this, here's the answer to that concern, that question, etc.
It was up to me, all of it will be electronic. But anyway, I think that's needed, because there's so many things that are brought up in public comment over and over, and we don't address it, because when we get engaged in that type of conversation, but it needs to be answered so that they have it. So that's my thoughts on it.
Just a quick question, going forward, as new information comes up, is there gonna be a real commitment to making sure that's on the website? Will the three of you
Yes.
still be?
So we mentioned the 2 years and 7 months, part of why we went with Granicus platform. They are built to evolve as your needs change. There's not gonna be a need to overhaul this completely in 2 years. You're constantly making adjustments real time as you're going, which is how we wanted to approach it. Not, hey, let's get something static and then have to replace it in 2 years. As we get the analytics, as we know what the concerns are, as the seasons change, concerns change, we can adapt to those situations, is exactly why we went with Granicus.
Very good.
Plus the fact that they're gonna have approximately, 30 people you said that will be able to provide updates, which is different than what we've had.
So we can essentially, you can be responsible for the information in your department, it can go through an internal workflow, Gene obviously reviews it before it goes live, just to make sure, but you're not dependent on a single person to update information for the entire county government.
Great. Thank you. Any questions? Lynn?
Yes, ma'am.
As a worker, if I was doing food stamp application, how would I know that I had one waiting for me? Is there like a supervisor that's gonna go in every day and check and disperse those applications out? Because they only have so many days to process them.
So
And
we
they
have,
can't sit there 2 weeks and nobody not know.
so our priority at launch was the inspection department, and the goal is to do a phased rollout with open forms, obviously converting from paper to electronic as a process. We have not met with them directly on that specific topic yet, but the goal is to get inspections squared away first, because that's tied to, a lot of, money flowing to the county. We're hoping to clean that process up first, and then the goal is to expand out
But
into
that-
things like
But
that.
they also have their state program, she's got multiple
Right.
people that work at home at the present time. And this stuff is processed, and they keep up with the number of applications that people working from home can do.
Any other questions? Great presentation.
Thank you,
Good job.
appreciate it.
Good job.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Sounds like state of the art and very much needed.
We have dinner for everyone in the break room,
Okay.
and the table's in there for you to go to, and everybody in this room is invited to go.
I need to get a motion to adjourn here.
Yeah, you can just adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Second. All in favor? Meeting adjourned.